everyone, and welcome back to Jesse Heck Creative. Today we're going over the Marvel Legends Controller Build-A-Figure Wave ranking, as well as the Controller Build-A-Figure himself. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Now let's get to it. So as far as the rankings go, we're going to take it from the worst to the best, from 7 to 1. Here we go. Number 7 is Thor. I am not a fan of this interpretation of the character, and seeing as I'm not getting the giant Galactus, I'm not really going to use this guy much anyways. I do have the Universe Galactus, but I also don't see Thor joining up with him anytime soon in my collection. Thor is a good guy. Thor is Thor. He never really joined Galactus, so I don't really see a point in having this guy at all. The crows are kind of hard to pose, as well as that lightning effect on his hammer. It just doesn't work out that well for me. He looks cool, but he suffers from some articulation issues. And for me, Thor is going to sit at number 7. Number 6 is Speedball. He doesn't come with anything, which is a shame. I wish he came with some kind of effect or new hands or some other kind of object for him to hold. Maybe some rubber balls would be great. Maybe a rubber sculpt would be great for him. It would have been awesome to see him bounce around if you threw him hard enough, which would have been actually pretty interesting for a figure and an interesting feature they could put onto the character. Sadly, all we have is a really great head sculpt with some good tempo, but that's about it for him. Number 5 is Blue Marvel. I don't know enough about the character to really comment on him or his relevance in my collection or in anyone else's collection for that matter, but I just don't know enough about him to really want him. Book Nice was talking about getting Blue Marvel as his number 1 for years, and he's finally had him, but we get a reused body sculpt along with a nice denim jacket with some really cool purple flame effects and a pretty good head that might be able to use for some other figures, but I don't really see wanting him in my collection, or at least needing him. I could use the hands for something else, I could use the effects for something else, maybe the head, but the rest of it is just okay for me, as he sits at number 5. Number 4 is US Agent. He is a good figure, but not a great figure, at least as far as this goes. His body mold is reused. I had to look a lot to find the good paint on him in the stores, and also trying to get that shield in his hand and not have it fall off is kind of weird. I love the head sculpt. It's really great. It's really grumpy and captures that anger that US Agent has, and he works well on my Dark Avengers display, but he isn't good enough to really get as high as my top 3 for this wave. Number 3 is Madam Hydra. She is a great character that I've been wanting in my collection for a long time. She serves as a member of Hydra and also Serpent Society as Viper, which is really cool and good to see that we can use this character in multiple teams. I'm not a fan of how the guns fall out of her holster and that she has a lot of reused body molds, and mine personally has a little rip in her sort of just arm piece, but it doesn't take away from the fact that she's a great character that I could really use, and that head sculpt is actually pretty good, and her colors are quite vibrant. So yeah, Madam Hydra is number 3. Number 2 is Quake/Maria Hill. 2 for the price of 1. All new body sculpt, reused hands and guns, sure, but the head sculpts are really great. I love that you can get 2 of these and have 2 unique characters, or also get multiples, an army build if you like. They're really great figures, but my only issue is that when you move the foot, the paint comes off the back of the leg. So that's a shame on that, but it doesn't take away from this being a really great figure and essential if you want to do some Secret Wars or you want to do S.H.I.E.L.D., and I just think it's awesome to have these figures in, especially with the new show coming out soon. Number 1 is Iron Man. They put a lot of tender, loving care into this guy, and it shows. I love the body sculpt. I love the look. Everything about this guy screams classic Iron Man. It's enough red, enough gold, and some really nice posing abilities, along with the sculpt, paint, and accessories are really great. Sure, I got 1 more that gives me 2 more accessories, but take those away and you'll still have an awesome figure. It's amazing what they can do with the technology nowadays and how good they can make this guy, and Iron Man comfortably sits at number 1. He's just amazing. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. So here's all the pieces needed to build the controller. Let's get this guy built, shall we? First off, we get the body and we put the head on it. A little bit hard, but it pops in. We get 1 arm here. Stick that on there. Come on. Other arm over here. Put that on. 1 leg. Get that in there. A little bit difficult. And then the other leg. Put that in there. And we have the controller Build-A-Figure. I love the wash on this guy. They put a lot of detail, a lot of good TLC in this nice looking fellow. So let's go over this guy and see what's what. So here is the head for the controller. He looks really cool. It reminds me of the Thing with a little bit of Thanos. That's really nice. I don't know if this is rock or skin or he needs some kind of, dermatology appointment, but he looks really cool. The sunken in eyes are really creepy, as well as the whited out irises, and that grimace is kind of freaky. It's like he's really mad at you for, interrupting his nap. Yeah, he looks super tired, but also super mad. I wouldn't want to get near this guy if I were you. The colors on his helmet are really cool. Also, I like the blocky look. I think this was drawn by Jack Kirby. I'm just guessing by design alone and no other research. But I wouldn't be surprised if I was right. It has a nice blocky old school 50s, 60s feel that I really love. And this sort of like headdress cowl thing is pretty cool too. Very big body on this guy, a lot of big muscles and abs and pecs and everything, but it's all so well done with the shading. I love the shading of the blue. I thought I wouldn't like it, but here we are. It's really nice. I wish there was some shading on his back, sadly. His butt looks pretty cool though, with all the striations over here. His belt is pretty nice as well. There's a little sort of like pad looking thing on that. I guess it's a really good, looking character. And again, this sort of shoulder pauldron just brings it all together. It's a little bit rubbery. It's very nice. And I just like the detail put in this guy. Maybe a few shades over here on the abs, but that might, get broken over time by this swooping over it. So I'm glad they didn't do it. His gloves look really cool. They match the, metal sheen of sort of this area and this area up here. It all just ties well together, and his hands are really gnarled and kind of scary. Very, well done with the tone on this guy. It's very, horrifying, this character. He just gives me some uncanny, weird vibes. The legs are usually the most boring part of a figure, and yeah, they are in this guy, but they're broken up by the nice blue over here, as well as over here. There is an issue with mine where the leg won't go in all the way, and that's frustrating. You get this kind of seam right here. It doesn't look as bad on this side, but this side, ooh, I don't know if it's the body or if it's the leg piece, but I may have to get some fix to that sometime soon. There are some scratches on this anyways, so I might return it for a different one, but the legs look good, and the boots look fine as well. They have some good sort of, not treads, but at least some good bottom on it. It's very simple, very plain, but just well done. His knees are super chunky and big. They're almost the size of a regular head or a fist or something. The back is sadly not painted as well as I thought it would be, at all even, but you wouldn't really see it if he's doing a kneel kind of pose or bending his legs. And yeah, that's the figure in question. Yeah, controller looks really cool, and I love his paint scheme. As far as accessories goes, the controller comes with two fists that can swivel and then go up and down, and they look pretty good. They're just your normal standard fists, kind of small on him in a way. They're kind of, I don't know, it just looks kind of small from this angle. It's very weird. He comes with these open hands, and with a surprise, it comes with a little controller disc apparently that he uses. It almost looks like a little jet turbine kind of thing right here. That's neat. I love the painting on this, and also his palms have a really nice texture to him. Kind of hard to see in this light. Moving it closer, yeah, they have this really cool texture to the palms, on both palms even. Yeah, it's super cool and adds a little bit of flair to a figure that you'd more kind of overlook than not. Again, these can twist and then go up and down, and twist and then up and down with a little more range than this one. This is the range you sacrifice to hold these little controller discs, and I'm not exactly sure, but they should have come with a controller disc on the side to put on a character or put on a figure. I may have to heat this up and take it off forcibly, but for the meantime, they look good in his hand, and he looks really menacing right here. As far as articulation goes, controller's head's on a dumbbell, so it goes up and down and all the way around. Get some nice pivot over there, left and right, wherever you want to put the head, it can go. It has really nice up and down capabilities. You can go out, around, all the way, watching out for this pauldron, but it really pushes out of the way very nicely. Goes up this far, swivels around at the bicep. You can also swivel it around at the elbow and go up, not really that far, but you don't really need to. Again, the wrists we covered earlier. We get a good crunch over here, down and back. Nicer down crunch than most figures. I'm surprised. Swivel over here. It does make a mess with the belt. It looks really weird. But I don't know. Oh, geez. Wait, what's going on with this? Hang on. I think I may have unseated the belt from... There we go. Its place. Yeah, that could have been done a little bit better in hindsight, I think. The legs go out, down, go up, back. Get that double knee. Kind of forcing it to work. Not really that great, sadly. That's a shame. Swivel up here. No swivel with the boot. You could have done that, Hasbro. That could have been easy, you know? Implement that, maybe? You get it down. Oh, geez, wait. The detents are really bad on that one. Down and back and all the way. Yeah. And pivot with 2 pegals on the feet. Yeah, a couple stiff points here and there that may have to work out over time, but pretty good articulation for a big, hefty, chunky figure such as the controller. The controller stands at just about 7.5 inches tall, next to Thanos, who is the inspiration for his body mold. But what's weird is a controller, I think, came before Thanos, so that's kind of strange for me. A lot of pieces, I think, are reused, at least I think the legs and the arms. The body is a little bit different. I think that's a different body entirely, but you get that same pauldron and the same kind of look. I really wish that this kind of face, as far as the, Grimace face, was used on Thanos instead of that, other bearded head that could have been saved for a different figure down the line. I would have liked some kind of just sneer that Thanos had, especially on the cover Infinity Gauntlet. That would have been great. But enough about Thanos. Also, here's Jesse Heck Creative. So, you're the controller, huh? Alright, prove it. Alright, you proved it. Overall, this is a pretty decent wave. Actually, a pretty good wave, in my opinion. The Iron Man is one of my favorites. I love his effect pieces, and I love how he looks. He's really awesome. The Thor, I could probably live without, seeing as I'm not a big fan of him being a Galactus Herald, but I'm also not getting the huge, giant HasLab Galactus anyways. Blue Marvel, I could live with or without. I love those purple flames. Yet, the character, I'm just not really excited about. Boog Nice is, but I'm really not. Madam Hydra is a really good figure as well. I like her, head sculpt is pretty good, yet the body is just a lot of reuse, and it's basically the same as the older one, with a little bit better articulation here and there, and a couple of guns that completely fall out of the holsters whenever they want to. Speedball, I don't really care about. He's not really my cup of tea, and he's been sold already as far as this review goes when it comes out. So yeah, he looks good, and has some nice tempo, but just not my thing. Quake is a really nice figure, and I like her a lot, yet she has some problems with paint and the articulation messing up that paint, so that's a downer for me. But I really love the fact you could, get 2 of them and make 2 different figures out of that, Quake and Maria Hill. That's pretty awesome. She is a great figure in retrospect. U.S. Agent is still pretty good. You have to really search for a good paint job on him, but once you do, it's fine. It isn't the best figure in the world because of the Grim Reaper body mold, yet I do like the head sculpt, and there's a couple color choices I don't agree with on him, but he's still pretty good for what we have, and I'm at least glad to have a comic US Agent in the collection. So yeah, I'm very surprised at how much I like this wave. I thought it was going to be a complete dud, but we have a pretty good, solid cast of characters to use for mine and others' collections with a surprisingly good Build-A-Figure in the mix. We'll see you tomorrow as we begin Spooky Spider-Man Weekend on Jesse Heck Creative. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Heck Creative. Feel free to click like, subscribe, share, or leave a comment. You can also visit us at jesseheckcreative.com, where you'll find more reviews like this one. Thanks again for watching and keep being creative. Stay tuned.